in the room. Come on in the room. Bucks win it wire to wire tonight, 130 to 112 over the Toronto Raptors. Come on in the room. Doc is our doctor. He writes out all our scripts. He gives us our medicine in our room. We are live. The Cream City Crossover Groove Truck Dirt.
JT.
Justin.
Yeah. No Chris King tonight. But we are in the building. Chris King is working, throwing people about the bars out in Dayton, Ohio. Bucks win at 130-112 over the Toronto Raptors. Third straight win for the Bucks. Third straight win where the Bucks won by at least 15 points. That's the first time that's happened since 2022. So the Milwaukee Bucks are absolutely rolling right now as they taking over, beating some. Again, you can say what you want about the quality opponents, but Sacramento was on a 7-game win streak, and the Bucks beat them. And the Toronto Raptors just are fresh off kicking the Boston Celtics ass the other night. So you beat them, and they were looking for their third straight win. So this is a good win for the Milwaukee Bucks tonight. Let's keep rolling with it. 130 to 112. Good stuff from the Bucks. You had to enjoy it if you're a Bucks fan. Let's do a game recap as always. Again, get at me on the Twitter at TCIIESQ. We'll talk to you in the chat as well about your thoughts. There's also interest in the chat. I'll get to it maybe later in the program, but somebody left a message in the other last night's show that I wanted to address. But I'll read it a little bit later and we can talk about it. Let's do a recap tonight. The 130-112 victory. Giannis Antetokounmpo 35, 13, and 3. 12 of 20 from the field, 11 for 18 from the line. We'll talk about these free throws. 18 free throws for Giannis. He hits 11 of them, not quite 70%, but he gets to his averages there. Torrey Prince with 9 points, 2 boards, 1 assist. Brook Lopez, 9.7 boards, 5 assists, 2 blocks, 34 minutes. I thought in the second half of that game, especially, defense just got it was a little bit shaky. We can talk about that too. Ryan Rollins gets a start tonight. Only 16 minutes, so kind of Doc doing almost the same kind of thing he does with Ajax. Only 16 minutes from Ryan Rollins starting, but 7 points, 2 boards, 1 assist from Rollins. Damian Lillard had a hot start to the night. Only, I think, had about 4 or 6 points in the second half, but he had a really hot start. He finished with 26 and 8 assists, 2 steals for him. A very good night. He was 10-10 from the line, 4-7 from 3. So Damian Lillard knocking down the 3 ball. Again, you go to your star watch. What's 35 and 26? What's that? Somebody give me some math on that.
61.
61, 16, and 11 from your 2 stars. That will play. That will work. How about AJ Green? 6 points, 4 boards, 1 assist, 1 steal. Chris Middleton, 13 and 5 tonight in 23 minutes. He was 4-6. Good minutes from him. Bobby Portis, 15 and 6. He was also a part of that. The defense, again, I know Justin's going to look at me and say, he was a +9 or whatever. Again, yeah. I just watch it, and there are some defensive lapses that take place when he's on the floor, especially when him and Brook Lopez are on the floor together. How about Gary Trent Jr., 10 points, 3 boards for him. Then he has some garbage time minutes for guys. You look on the other side of things, Toronto Raptors, 21 and 10 from R.J. Barrett, 10 and 10, 10 points, 8 rebounds, 10 assists from Scotty Barnes. Jakob Poeltl with 12 points and 10 boards. Grady Dick, 13 points, 3 assists. Grady Dick, I mean, I always get kind of wonder about his game. Like, sometimes I think he's decent, and sometimes I think he's just out there grifting for fouls. I don't know. David Mitchell, 10 points.
He's a dick.
He's a dick. He is a dick. Kelly Olynyk with 15 and 4, and then it's Chris Boucher with 6.6 boards. Bruce Brown, another guy, 17.6 boards. Talk about trade impacts. Remember, last year, the Milwaukee Bucks were kind of teetering around the Bruce Brown rumor mill, and nothing ever developed. Matter of fact, did he get traded last year? Was that last year he got traded, or was he always right? So I think the Bucks were kind of sitting around there, and then Bruce Brown ended up going to Toronto. That's another name that you could be on the list that you could watch for to see if the Bucks want to see if they can find a way to get him to Milwaukee, since they're rumored there, and I haven't heard anything on this. But tonight, again, one of the things I think you want to talk about is a great start. 37 points in the first quarter. Really only the fourth quarters where the Bucks didn't score well. They scored 37 in the first, 35 in the second, 35 in the third. They did give up 35 and 34 in the second and third quarters. But overall, I mean, I don't have too many complaints. I thought they got just a little lax in the second half of that game, which again, it's hard to stay focused and stay on task for an entire game against a middling opponent like the Toronto Raptors. But at the end of the day, you did exactly what you're supposed to do. Damian Lillard came out. I think hot starts are going to be crucial for this basketball team. Damian Lillard came out and looked like Damian Lillard. Giannis looked like Giannis. He comes out, he's dunking the ball, laying it up, finishing through contact, hit his mid-range jumper when he got to it. So I thought all those were good things. I thought the Bucks turned up the pressure when they needed to. Again, Toronto got it down to 10 points, I believe, in that fourth quarter. But the Bucks turned it up when they needed to and kind of when they wanted to. Held Toronto at bay. This never felt like it was that close. And also, I mean, honestly, even in the first half, I think the Bucks were up 17 in the first half. It felt like they were up 30. So again, this was a dominating performance, one that you look for if you're a Milwaukee Bucks fans. One that again, you've seen yourself beat some of the high quality teams. You've lost to the top three teams in the East, which we talked about. And I think the Bucks, I can't remember what the Bucks record is, but for teams below 500, but it doesn't look like what a contender looks like against teams that are below 500. The Bucks have a good record. I think the Bucks have a winning record against teams over 500 as well, except for that top three in the East. But yeah, this is what it's supposed to look like when you're playing a Toronto Raptors. They are not a good basketball team. You don't go down there or at home on the road where you don't lay an egg. Scotty Barnes isn't that good. RJ Barrett isn't that good. You go out, you show it, you prove it. That's what the Bucks did tonight. Again, I don't have a ton of real detail to go through and just kind of talk about. Bucks did what they needed to do. They held court, they held serve, got a good win over an inferior opponent. I'm happy about it. I'll take it 131-12. That's what I saw. JT, what'd you see?
A whole lot of the same thing you saw tonight, man. You know what? I gotta go ahead and acknowledge it because when she comes around, I gotta say what's up. I gotta say what's up. My girl came through tonight. Y'all see her walking up and down that court, my girl Allie?
Alley-oop?
Alley-oop, yes, sir. I saw that alley-oop in that first quarter. And this was the Giannis and Dame show. This is what we want to see. This is what you pay your money for, is to watch these guys cooking. Now, Trey, you've said this before. Giannis is the most valuable player, but Damian Lillard is the most important player. And you saw that. Dame came out tonight. At one point, he had I want to say 20 points in 13 minutes. Something. Dame was out there swinging, and he was out there absolutely balling. And that first half is exactly what we needed. We just took it to the Raptors. Now, I was watching this game, and I thought to myself, man, the Raptors just aren't very good. You say, wow, they have a collection of young talent, but yeah, they're young. I have questions about the talent. I mean, I guess, right? Like some of it's names and perception, but the Raptors aren't very good. Now, what are the 10 and 32 at this point? Yeah, they stink. One thing that I liked about tonight, though, too, is, hey, you're gonna have ticky tack. Refs got to call it. This was an impressive from the free throw line tonight. We had our season high, and I believe in free throw attempts and free throws made. I mean, going into halftime, I want to say we had shot 22, 23 free throws already at halftime, which is impressive. Really, really impressive. We talk about these guys not getting calls and everything else too. The other thing is perimeter defense. I thought was solid too. I mean, and I don't know what was the joint that was on Netflix where people was driving around with the blindfolds on.
Bird Box?
Bird Box, yeah. Scotty Barnes was doing that in the first. I don't know what that was. Scotty Barnes was awful. I don't know what Scotty Barnes was seeing. I have absolutely no clue what was going on here. I think Scotty Barnes was 1 for 11 in that first half, too, and I was surprised it was even that. I mean, Scotty Barnes was missing. He looked an absolute mess, and that's interesting because a couple of years, Scotty Barnes has actually had pretty decent performances against the Bucks. He showed up and showed up. Not tonight. Again, I don't know, right? The bird box challenge or whatever that was. Man, I don't want to harp on Bobby Portis in the defense because I don't think I can say anything that everybody else is not already saying at this point. I think it kind of is what it is, and I think the combination of Bobby and Brooke is something that we as Bucks fans are probably. I think we're good if we don't see that. Look, we can get away with it against the Raptors to an extent, but. I don't know, man. I don't know about those two. Combination of those two, I don't really want to see that. And I'm going to withhold judgment on Bobby Portis at this point because it was a good night and we came out and kind of brought it. Fourth quarter, right? It looked a little bit shaky, but I don't think Bucks fans, the Raptors went on that 9-0, 10-0 run to start the fourth quarter. And I I wasn't really worried that they were actually going to close that gap because I didn't think they had the horses to do it. But that looked a bit shaky. And I mean, look, we did what we had to do tonight. Every quarter we came out foot on the gas, foot on the necks of the Raptors. The last quarter it was a bit shaky, but at the end of the day, we did what we had to do to win tonight. Great win. And does it qualify, fellas? Does it qualify? Can we say belt to ass?
Oh yeah, it's belt to ass.
Can we say
Yeah.
can we say belt to ass, fellas? Can we say belt to ass? I think we're gonna walk around with the belt around my neck, right? Like I got kids in the house that can't act right. I'm walking around with the belt. You know what? I'm gonna put on the black side of the person. I'm gonna walk around with the belt around my neck. We got kids in the house, just so y'all see I got this thing on. So if y'all start acting up, yes sir. Belt to ass, belt to ass, belt to ass.
JT with the energy tonight. I like it. I like it.
Hey man, whoa! Hey, I'm scared to go now because of the belt to ass. I don't want to catch no smoke, dog. Hey, look. Hey, real quick, before I go into this, right? Being from Milwaukee, would be remiss if I didn't talk about Bob Uecker and just how dope of a person this guy is. Transcended all the sports, man. Put a lump in my throat when the guy passed away yesterday, just because, man, like Bob Uecker has been more consistent in some brothers' homes than their own father has been in the summers. Understand that. He was there every single summer forever. Just a transcendent of sports. You gentlemen do this media stuff a lot more than I do, but a lot of us wouldn't be here if Bob didn't do some of the stuff he did, man. And the guru always got them funny jokes, got them singing, got that stuff. That's a lot like Bob Uecker. Put on for your city, put on, and just tough day, man. But, you know, in the words of the great Bob Uecker, we're going to go on with this joint. So, man, JT, like you really got on Scotty Barnes. All his jumpers were just a bit outside, like the legendary Bob Uecker would say, right? Every single one of them. That dude can't shoot. Let's talk about Doc Rivers for a second, though, right? Doc talked about the guys got tired of playing defense tonight, and they got tired of scoring. They kind of took a little break in the game, and they were like, hey, man, we beating the hell out of this team. They suck. I don't know if it's Raptors 905 or the Toronto Raptors, but we beating the hell out of them, so let's chill out. Brookie Giannis did a great job stopping contests going to the rim. Got to stop trading baskets. He said the Bucks shot 52% tonight, one of the better shooting performances from the Bucks. I don't know if that number is correct. I didn't fact check it. He left the big three on the floor at the end of the game just because he wasn't aware the Raptors were calling off their dogs. He was so in tune and focused to building that lead and not letting them guys come back. And then one last point for the post-game show. Gary Trent Jr. mentioned on his interview with Dave Cain and Justin Garcia that their bench players could start on a lot of teams. I thought that was pretty key, man. You know, so one thing I learned tonight about the Toronto Raptors, I didn't realize Garrett Temple is still in the NBA to the end of the game.
Who he played for? Yeah.
Toronto.
Found a still in the league. Found a still in the league
Temple.
candidate. He's still in the league.
I thought Middleton gave us some great minutes tonight. And the most important thing is like build wins. And when we're getting these big leads up on these teams, man, we got to sustain this lead and we got to continue to sustain the effort throughout the game. I thought the Bucks did enough to win, and that's the most important thing. I mean, you talked about it before, Trey. Top tier of the league. We've lost to the bottom tier of the league.
Yep.
I don't take any wins for granted anymore as a Bucks fan. I'm just happy to be here, man. And hey, man, it's a great night tonight, man. We winning.
Yeah, no, 100%. Let's stay on that topic there. We talk about this is our next topic, taking care of business, beating the teams that you're supposed to beat, and looking like a team you're supposed to like. Basketball Reach says, yeah, he's happy. 608 UW says Bucks are rolling. Box score tonight is an ideal box score for the win. Nick J is impressed with Ryan Rollins. Good game. He looked confident. I will say I liked Ryan Rollins in the start. I thought it was an interesting move. Again, I think the traditional thing people would have probably thought that that Doc would have, because Ajax is out, the Doc would have maybe gone with Gary Trent Jr. or with AJ Green. But he goes with Ryan Rollins, and again, 17 minutes. And Ryan Rollins, I thought, was impactful to start the game. I thought he was. I thought he got his hands on the basketball. You know, just kind of he's always active. Just very active player, and so I like him. Got himself on the scoreboard as well. But yeah, I mean, to me, it is about taking care of business. Like when you play teams like the Raptors, like you have to go out and look like a basketball. Like that is part of it. That is part of why when we'll talk about the Jimmy Butler thing in a little bit, but that is part of why they're looking to maybe make a move. And again, I said it to Blue in the face, and I know this show might sound a bit repetitive, because we're a month away, for less than a month. We're 3 weeks away from trade deadline, and that's what everybody's talking about. These new stories and everything that's coming out about the Jimmy Butler and really just if you just stay off Jimmy, but the moves the Bucks have to make, where you don't feel like, or you may not feel like this team has enough to win as currently constructed. And some of the reason is you watch some of these games and you go, you can't look like that against these guys. You can't look like that. Like, you need to beat the teams that are good, which the Bucks have 0-8 against top 3 in the East, so they haven't necessarily proven that in some regards. But you really got to go out and be consistent. Like, there has to be a baseline of consistent basketball that I'm used to seeing. That I can go out, like what says we're doing movie. What Frank Lucas was selling? That
Blue Magic.
That blue man. It's
Blue Magic.
It's consistent. I need to know when the customer goes and sees that blue magic, they didn't know what they're getting. When you see the Milwaukee Bucks play, you need to know what you're getting. And the Bucks, from the 2-8 start and shaking throughout some of the season, you didn't always know which team was going to show up. And I will say the last 3 games and the last 10 games of basketball from a defensive standpoint, and even offensively last again, you put up 130 tonight, you put up 130 in Sacramento. Like it's not, again, sometimes it's not even about wins and losses. It's about being consistent. And I want to consistently see a team that hustles, consistently see a team that fights for rebounds, consistently sees a team that fights through screens and fight and moves the ball offensively. And there were lapses tonight. It's funny because I mentioned it on Twitter, and it's funny because I literally said, and this was in this first half, I said, a lot of open layups, but I can't complain a lot. And somebody's like, oh, they're up 18. What are you complaining about? And I wasn't complaining. It's just a trend, and you notice it. There's a lot of layups that they really weren't scoring outside layups, getting to the basket. And then, of course, trying to get themselves back into the game. Again, I get it was a 10-point game, and, I think, again, it was never in doubt. But just things, again, if you're not looking for things to improve upon and things to work on, I guarantee you Doc Rivers is probably happy that it happened because, boom, now I got film that I can show you. Say, hey, we got to be better at this. This shouldn't even be a 10-point. Yeah, this should have been, we've been up 25 the entire game. Again, I know it's hard to do that, but from a consistency standpoint, that's what you want to see. And again, I think we saw a lot of it. A lot more good, obviously, than bad tonight for the Milwaukee Bucks.
Would agree with that. And that's a really good point. Is when you talk about how you got to have something to work on, something to look at, that's true. I think Doc will go back to the film and see that as something the guys can improve upon. But you made a really good point when you look at it from a macro level. How do we look against the best teams, right? Justin made this point too of, well, yeah, but we've dropped games to pretty bad teams. We've done this too, right? And you look at that and you say, and when you talk about you want to see guys consistently hustle, guys consistently rebound, guys consistently make smart decisions and do that. What I feel like you're saying is you want to see this team consistently look like a contender. You want to see this team consistently play up to their potential. You want to see this team play like a top 3 team in the East, play like a team that knows a team that's expected to get past that second round. And by and large, this season, for the most part, I'd say you're right. We probably have not seen that, but we do have an opportunity to see that for this back half of the season. And in the question that I asked myself, is this a third straight win by 15 or more?
Correct.
So the question we got to ask though is, okay, have we really turned this corner now? Have we really turned this corner now? I mean, for the most part, right? Any given night, you can definitely give one up. You're gonna have your stinkers in there. We're just gonna give one up and go, I don't know what that'll happen, but you get right back on the horse the next day. Do you think we've turned the corner? Are we truly building momentum at this point? That's a question that will only be answered when you look at the next few games as well. But it's worth asking because of the performances you've seen the last 3 games in a row now.
Yeah, I think one of those strongest things that we've seen in these past 3 games was winning games like that, plus 15, like you mentioned, JT, but on back-to-back games, right? And I know we're 0-8 against the top Eastern Conference teams. But we're also 2-1 against the top in the West. And that OKC team that we beat and we handily beat and we hampered them and kind of handcuffed that team that night to win that NBA Cup. I don't know where my cap is. Let's put that joint on right now. But that's a good, solid win. And what they did to these Cleveland Cavaliers the other night, I don't know. I hold a little bit of credence in that. I think the more we allow these guys to get better and to play together, I think we got enough constructed personally. And I think the more sweat that Chris Middleton gets, the better this team is going to play. And let that brother keep sweating, and he going to keep hitting the middies on these boys. And, eventually we get to that cusp where he could get from 10 to 20 minutes a game to 25 to 30. And we're gearing up for the playoffs. So I'm excited. Hey, man, just keep winning, man. That's all I want to do. Just keep winning.
Yeah, you have to absolutely keep winning. To answer your question, JT, I don't know. You're right. I think it's going to take a couple more games to figure out have you really turned that corner, because again, you're looking at it, and I'm looking standings wise. The Bucks are one. They have one more loss right now than the New York Knicks. You're now 3.5 game? No, excuse me. 2.5 games out of, or maybe that's 3.5 games. I can't. They're two. Excuse me, they're 2.5 games out of third right now. So you're right there. I mean, to the top three teams in the East. You're behind New York. You have a game over Indiana. So yeah, are you going to get to that point where you really are competing with New York for that 3 seed? It's right there in front of you. So go ahead and try to do that. I think that will behoove the Bucks to try to get to that level, to that mark. Even though again, I think if you're looking at it right now, 3 or 4, I think you're in good shape, especially if it remains being Indiana or Orlando as the team you face. But I wanted to ask you guys this, because there was a question that came after the show last night. No hate, only facts. So I was having a discussion, and I made the point. He quoted me. I made the point, and I said the Bucks are doing everything that Giannis wanted, because there was some conversation and some talk about trades and is the franchise doing everything, and I think the main point I made was the Bucks have done everything that Giannis has wanted, and I think I made the mention that firing Budenholzer was a Giannis kind of move. He was okay with that. Hiring Adrian Griffin was a Giannis move. He was okay with that. Firing Adrian Griffin was a Giannis move. He was okay with that. And to a certain extent, now, do I think he went to the front office and said, hey, get Drew Holiday out of here? No, I don't think he did that. But again, remember that summer the Bucks got Dame, Giannis went on a podcast, which he never does. He was on a podcast and he says, give me some guys. I think he was talking about Damian, and he's talking in the past about Damian Lillard. And if you're getting Damian Lillard, you thought it was going to be Dame and Drew. Like, no, somebody's got to go. So in a sense, again, I'm not saying that he went to the front office and wanted it, but if your point guard is Drew Holiday and you are asking for or alluding to or whatever for Damian Lillard, put 2 and 2 together, how does that work? So they got you. So to me, they got him what he wanted. No hate, only facts says that's not true at all. He says, first off, Giannis wants Chris out of Milwaukee. They actually tried trading Chris for Bradley Beal, which is a certain point, because the Bucks, if you remember, they did want to get, they were talked about the Bradley Beal thing. He says Giannis is getting paid very well. Blah blah. I won't get there. He says Brooks should be getting $15 million a year. He says Brooks should be getting $15 million a year. That's not doing everything Giannis wants. Giannis talked about playing with Dame, but remember, Dame also talked about it. And then he says, giving Chris Middleton makes so much money to not be available is not giving Giannis everything Giannis wanted. Giving so much for Drew, Dame, and Jay Crowder is not giving Giannis everything he wants, just giving out a bunch of picks. Why is Dame making the same thing as Giannis? And then he keeps going on to say the Bucks are doing everything Giannis wants is just not true. And I guess I just want to get your thoughts. Do you think as an organization that the Milwaukee Bucks have done, again, not everything, because I think you can go back and you can always go back and try to figure out what they could have done better and play armchair quarterback. But in the moment, have they done everything Giannis has wanted them to do? That's what I'm trying to ask here.
I mean, to an extent, I think we're speculating, right? Unless we can find a source where he's explicitly said he wanted. Now we do know that he'd been interested in playing with Dame for a while too, and I think my guess is that situation came about because there was probably a conversation like, "Look, we can get Lillard here. What you want to do? We get Lillard here, but we're gonna have to give somebody up, and this is who they're target." Right? I think that may have been how that conversation went. Look, I think they probably have made some decisions. 100%. I don't think Giannis is making the decisions, but I certainly think he's been consulted on a lot of these decisions. I think you can certainly you can definitely argue that. Even think about the coaching search that they went through as well. They talked about that. With Giannis is going to be consulting. He's going to have some input in there as well. I don't know if they've done everything that Giannis wants, but I certainly think they've done some things that Giannis wants. And when we say Giannis wants, things that favor him or stuff that he's signed up on, or they've included him in the decision.
I'll do you one better though, JT. They had his brother on the damn team for years. They had his brother on the damn team.
That's a good point. That's a good point. It's a family business. It's a family business. That's true. That's true. I don't know if they've done I don't know if they've done everything that Giannis wanted, but I think it does look like they certainly have done a lot. It does look like they've done a lot.
Hey, man, that's funny you said that because I literally, when I was writing my notes, that's what I wrote down. The Nasus is on the team. So, and let's couple that into the other thing. So, what's the homie's name that made this thing?
No hate, only facts.
Yeah, no facts. A lot of weird stuff. First of all, you got Pat C on Patty Connaughton, who's on the team, been on the team for a while. That's his workout partner. Saying that he doesn't want Chris Middleton on the team is absolutely preposterous. This dude was a best man in his wedding. He's probably his best friend on the team. Like, that's just crazy. Talking about trading for Drew, we have no ring if there's no Drew here. I think if anyone's appreciative of that, it's Giannis. Oh, by the way, the fact that he doesn't want Chris on his team, we have no ring if Chris is here either. The Jay Crowder thing, all right, that's the only fact you made. But when he made the trade for a bunch of second-round picks, I mean, who keeps tabs on second-round picks? It's not every day your Malcolm Brogdon or your Joker or whoever else or your Michael Redd is walking down that second-round pick aisle to become a Milwaukee Buck, man. The front office has made decisions with the expectation of keeping him here and keeping him at his highest level. Now, when the Houston Rockets made that offer to Brook Lopez, we matched it and went up because at that time, Brook was valuable. He was arguably the best defensive player in the league, should have won Defensive Player of the Year if it wasn't for the cat in Memphis going absolutely just crazy. So to say that they haven't done everything to make Giannis the best in the game is preposterous to me. They have guys on this team who probably on a lot of NBA teams are not re-signed. Hey, I like Pat Connaughton on his team. I talked about what he does on and off the floor, but can you tell me any other team that's going to sign him for the 2-year deal that the Milwaukee Bucks did had Giannis and them not put that stamp of approval on there? I just don't see it, man. And, hey, man, sorry, dude. It is what it is, man, but it was a good try, though.
Well, here's a question that I do have, and I don't know if you guys can answer this too. We can argue that the front office has made moves that Giannis has, favored or Giannis has signed off on. Does anybody know if Giannis has anything to do with these damn draft picks? Does anybody in the world know if Giannis is getting any say on these damn draft picks?
Well, no, because Giannis isn't he's not evaluating talent.
But is he working out with guys, right? Is he getting a chance? Is he working out with guys? Is he sharing trainers? Is he getting feedback on this? Is he putting suggestions in their ear? Is he talking about? These are all relatively fair questions for people to ask. Is like, who you like? Whose game you watching? Like, what, I'm saying? Like, talking about, that's just a question I have because we have clearly whiffed on our first round picks. This is kind of a thing here. If you're not consulting Giannis and Dame and talking to the team about what y'all think about this, you might want to start. And if you are talking to them about this, you might want to stop, right? Either way, we got to do something different because it's not working. That's just a fair question, though. Has he had any input on who we bring in?
Yeah, I would highly doubt that he has anything to do with draft picks, especially where we're picking in the draft. I mean, that's some real high-level detail you had to get into, knowing who's who in the 30s and 40s. It's not like you got the number 1 draft pick and you're like, yeah, maybe if it was like that, And it's like, yeah, we got the first couple picks, and hey, do you like Cooper Flag? But Giannis has already talked about how he don't even watch a lot of basketball when he goes home anyway. Like, so he doesn't seem like a guy who I think is tuned into what's happening at the collegiate level, or especially like I said, the guys we get. AJ Johnson was playing basketball in Australia and was I mean averaging 2 points a night, so on 20%. So I highly doubt the Giannis had anything to do with or like he's watching AJ Green or something. Whatever AJ Green highlights had. I don't think so. That'd be my guess. And I've never heard anything that would state that he is. But
he might want to start. That's my thing. You might want to start. You might want to start giving a damn about who we're using first round picks on and second round picks on. Yeah, you might. I'm gonna need you not to just go to work, right? Make this a career. Career. Go ahead, look at it in your spare time. Come on, man.
JT, how old are you? How old are your little ones?
4 and 6.
Yeah, so Giannis like you, man. He going home watching Paw Patrol, man. He ain't watching no basketball. I can't see that dude watching University of Northern Iowa versus Drake and watch AJ Green go and saw some boys crazy, right? Like, he can't do that. And when you look at some of our first round picks, man, I think Jason Kidd is the best coach in the NBA outside of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I think he's a great basketball coach. I think he's been phenomenal. But when you look at DJ Wilson, that's on him. He wanted him. You look at Rashad Vaughn, another guy. So, hey, I think that Giannis is he's so talented, man. He can hoop with anybody, man. I mean, AJ Green looks like one of the best players never drafted ever in the history of the NBA because he's playing with Giannis and Dame, man. So I hear you on the first round and the second round picks, man. We just at this point, man, we just got to win one more, man.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where Giannis. I'll say this. The other piece of No Hate says LeBron, KD, Steph, Luka, Embiid, Kawhi, Tatum. Those are the guys getting everything they asked for. The talent that those guys have played is nothing compared to what Giannis has been given. He then says no lies told. And so just go back. LeBron, look at the difference here. LeBron. So to an extent, yes, but LeBron we know LeBron puts his fingerprints all over the front office. I don't think Giannis is doing that. 1, 2. LeBron has moved multiple teams, so yeah, you can. That doesn't care. He get everything he wants because he don't get what he wants. He leaves. KD same way. He dips and leaves whenever the times get tough over there for KD.
KD not even showing up to your party unless you already got some stuff there. KD ain't coming.
Right.
KD ain't coming. Right. Like, listen, right? KD asking what you're serving. Okay, yeah. Right. Like, he not showing up. KD's not coming with you to build nothing.
Exactly.
Right. Like and I agree with you on LeBron. LeBron not only will leave, but he's not going anywhere unless these conditions are attached.
All right.
Like, I'm gonna play. I am associate GM. Like, this is just kind of how this thing works. I am associate. I am assistant GM. This is how this thing works. And these are the conditions for me to even show up. I can't even start listening until you meet my list of demands. LeBron is going and holding franchises hostage, and folks are willing to do this dance because for a long time there was a return on investment there. He's won he's won one everywhere he's gone. I can understand that, but it's a bit different though. Because LeBron was willing to be the villain and was willing to be the asshole and was willing to do this, whereas I don't think Giannis has reached that point in his career where he's willing to say. You remember LeBron was signing the 1+1 deals?
Right.
That was exactly what that was. That was holding. Exactly. You were holding a franchise hostage because everybody else was signing long-term deals, and you would be stuck with all these guys on your roster if this dude bounced and you didn't like it. I mean,
100%.
Yeah.
And then I don't agree with the Luka take either because again, I'd rather have Damian Lillard than Kyrie at this stage of career. Kyrie's that's not Cleveland Kyrie that's playing over there. And Kyrie still has a lot of game in him. But yeah, I think he's definitely taking a step back, if you will. And then Tatum doesn't make sense either because Boston and now I would say Boston's front office has just done things a lot different. Again, I think all the guys that are with him. They hit on their picks, which was Tatum and Brown. They hit on their homegrown picks. A little bit different than when you're trying to go find guys and bring them. You're doing salary caps and all that. They hit on their guys. So, again, it is a very hard thing to do, which is why you don't see a lot of players. Like you talked about, JT, trying to jump into the draft and figuring out what's going on in the draft. Brad Stevens and company, they figured that out over there in Boston. But the other thing I say is, again, Giannis, I think you made a point and said, he hasn't come out explicitly said it, and I don't think he hasn't. He never will come out and say, yeah, I was responsible for this move, that move, this move. You show it with your actions. And when Damian Lillard came on board, what did Giannis do? He signed his deal. He signed his extension a year early than he even had to. So to me, he showed me that he approved of the moves the Milwaukee Bucks made by signing onto that deal. That's what I took from it. Anyway, I'll give you guys last word on that before we move on to some updates with Jimmy Butler.
I mean, it's just strong, man. Like it's a strong reach, in my opinion. I mean, you guys have all hit the nails on the head. And then when you look at those moves, none of those moves with those players that allegedly are dictating or not dictating have came to any success, other than the Milwaukee Bucks season being completely derailed by COVID, and LeBron was the best Bally's Jim Hooper there was at that time. No shade to the championship. It is what it is, but you cannot deny the fact that the Milwaukee Bucks were the best team in the NBA prior to COVID. So that may have been a second ring for you. We may be talking about 2 rings, maybe 3 rings for Giannis and them guys. And no excuses given. But Embiid, what does Embiid dictate? He get a bunch of dudes that come with him that play worse when they're with him, or they get him on, hey, I'm going to get a big name, and I'm going to get him after their time is smoked. And alluding to your next topic, I think that's what we do with Jimmy Butler. Big name, talent gone, see ya. Sorry, JT.
Embiid ain't doing nothing but getting coaches fired, man. That's all Embiid doing. And that is a coach killer. He ain't doing nothing but getting coaches fired. Nothing at all. That's what he's doing. I'll be honest. I think they part ways with Nick Nurse after this year.
Nick Nurse is well, and the thing about Embiid, again, he's going to be out because the Bucks play Philly Sunday. Is Philly Sunday?
It's Philly Sunday.
I think they got Philly. Yeah, funny. I ain't seen Coach RJ up in here in a minute. And they just talked about it. Joel Embiid is going to miss. They're reevaluating Embiid. He's going to miss another 7 to 10 days. So I believe they play Sunday. So he won't be there for that. And again, y'all see, I think about Tyrese Maxey and Paul George coming. Yeah, you got all these has-been washed up guys. Hasn't worked. Charles Miller says the bench has been in top form lately. Midwest Balls TV says, gentlemen, thank you for these post-game shows. Absolutely, we're here all the time. Cream City Crossover. Quick Draw McGraw says the Bucks have not shown us that they are not good enough to win as currently constructed. It's an interesting comment. One Punch Man says Drew Holiday was not the first trade option. Dennis Schroeder was, but the Lakers signed first and horse panic and overpaid for Drew. It's not an overpay if you got a championship out of it. I don't know how you say you overpaid for something when the pinnacle of the sport is winning a title and you won a title. I don't know how you can tell me that was an overpay for Drew Holiday. You do what you got to do and you go get the guy. Ultimately him and really the move was actually him and Bogdanovich. And it just didn't. They blew the whole deal. That just didn't end up working out. Which means the Bucks probably would have won even easier if you've been able to get all those guys in place. But let's talk about Jimmy Butler. Again, Jimmy Butler did start tonight in Miami. We've been talking about him. He's been in the news, obviously, for obvious reasons as the Bucks continue to be linked to him. The report came out today that the Bucks would be willing to part with Chris Middleton. So this was been speculated and talked about, and again, everybody knew that. I mean, again, that was the common knowledge. Was if you're talking about Jimmy Butler, you'd have to include Chris Middleton. So I think this was it felt like common knowledge anyway. But again, it just confirmed when you have some reporting behind it that the Milwaukee Bucks were willing or are willing to move Chris Middleton if they needed to get a Jimmy Butler, I guess. And I've been, so I won't do a lot on it tonight because I've said my piece on it for a few shows in a row now about Jimmy Butler. Again, I just say this: you have to seriously consider it. And Chris Middleton, I keep saying it because I don't want to say it because for new viewers, people who haven't seen all that. Chris Middleton, and tonight he played well. Tonight he played well. One Punch Man says Horse is a poor GM. No, he's not. I'll get to another time. He's not a poor GM. I think and Chris King will come here and talk about drafting wise, maybe have some problems. But outside of that, just for an evaluator of talent, for somebody who will get trades done. Oh, Trader John is. I like the moves that he makes. And again, he won a championship. Like, what are we, first time in 50 years for Bucks? What are we talking about? But I'll say this. And Chris Middleton tonight, right? It was a good game. He goes 13 points, 3 boards, 5 assists, 23 minutes, 4, 6, 2 or 3 from the 3-point. Good game. Very good game from Chris Middleton. What I'm telling you is your number 3 player in a close playoff game has got to be able to play 40-plus minutes. Your top 3 dogs, and I had somebody on Twitter, I don't know if you actually play 37, 38, 39, whatever if you want, I'm saying 40 to round up. Your top players got to be willing to do that. If Chris Middleton every other night can't go 38, 39, 40 minutes, I have no idea. That's where I'm at with that. That's why trading for Jimmy Butler is not like the worst idea in the world. People tell, I don't know. And again, tell me if this is a problem. It's January the 17th. I don't know. We just talked about in the last segment consistency. It's January the 17th. I have no clue what Chris Middleton shows up in May. I don't know. Again, I know what he can do in 15, 20 minutes. I know that he can still shoot the ball. I know that he doesn't move laterally as well as he's supposed to. I don't know if that gets exacerbated over a 40-minute period. He doesn't move well. He doesn't move well in 20 minutes.
Right.
The hell you think is going to happen when he's playing 35, 40 minutes every other night? My thing is, I don't know. You can go back to the Indiana series and talk about it. That was 2 ankle surgeries ago.
It sure was. Yep. That was a year ago, roughly a year ago, and 2 ankle surgeries. I agree. I think that's the thing about Chris Middleton. That's what we're still trying to figure out. What can we consistently expect from Chris Middleton? And that question doesn't just come down to from an offensive perspective or defense. How many minutes? How often can he play? Is this a situation where they know there's only but so much in the tank? I mean, Doc's even acknowledged, Chris wasn't moving all that well and everything else too. Is this something that's going to get better? Are things just stiff? Are things loose? We really have no idea at this point. So I don't know what they can consistently expect from Chris Middleton, and that is a fair question. As for Jimmy Butler, I don't want Jimmy Butler anywhere near this team. I'm good. I get it. I understand. Playoff Jimmy in here. But playoff Jimmy has been a locker room. Everywhere he's been, this thing has blown up from maturity issues, you name it. Jimmy doesn't get happy. Jimmy gonna show his ass, right? Funny thing, because I know a group of 5-year-olds that are the exact same way. They not happy, they gonna show their ass. You better pacify that man or they gonna show their ass. Or whatever you can't do with negotiations with that 5-year-old, this thing right here, this will definitely solve. This right here, when it comes to toddlers and young kids, is a last resort, but it's what we call a peacemaker, right? And that's 100%. That's 100% what was you. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm on tangent here. But my point is that I don't like. I think bringing Jimmy in is a risk that we don't need to take because our locker room. I just feel like you got Giannis, you got Dame, you got leaders, you got Bobby as well. Even though he may be on his way out as well. You bring Jimmy in, and that I feel like is more of that is more gasoline and a torch. And I'm just not sure Jimmy can come in and assimilate. And I don't think that we're in a position where we can come in with a problematic player like that and deal with those headaches. Listen, if it were up to me and if it was between Jimmy and Zach LaVine, just give me Zach LaVine, please. Just give me Zach LaVine. We make that thing work. Make that work.
Let me ask you a question. Let's stop right there. So you're number one. So you would be willing to give up Chris Middleton for Zach LaVine?
Well, if it was a situation where you had to move Mitty and they were like, okay, we want to move him, whatever it is. If you had to make a trade, I said if you had to make a trade.
Well, you don't have to do anything.
Well, I said if you did. If you had to make a trade for whatever reason, and those were the 2 options you had, you can trade Mitty for Butler, Mitty for Zach LaVine. I'm going Zach LaVine.
That's crazy to me.
How is that? No, that's not crazy. Like because I'm looking at fit on and off the court. Like absolutely not. I do not want Jimmy Butler in this locker room. I think Jimmy
Butler in year 1 has never been a problem. Jimmy Butler is a problem later on when it gets to the end. And this is what I was talking about last night. It's a good question, but let me. And this is where you get to. And I said this earlier. Desperate times call for desperate measures. And the question to me, this is my question to both of you: are the Milwaukee Bucks, as currently constructed, can you win a championship? Are you desperate? And as Anthony Lacey is saying, too risky. What is and that's where I'm getting at. Is it too risky if at the end of the day, the risk is that you don't win, and if you don't win, you're shipping Chris's ass out before next year anyway. In the offseason, if this team doesn't win, Chris Middleton's ass is gone. So what is the risk? That's what I'm trying to figure out. What if the risk is your guy?
That Jimmy don't want to be here. We trade for him and he show his ass and blow up everything. The risk is you bought a player in that knew it was a rattlesnake, and when he start biting everybody, you go, oh damn, I didn't know he was gonna do that. The risk is you've quote unquote gone all in on winning this thing, and you brought a guy in that can't assimilate and just gonna show his ass the entire time. Now we can talk about Jimmy Butler.
We've never seen Jimmy Butler do that in the first time. We've never seen him get to a team, and as soon as he gets there, he's showing his ass.
Are you gonna put it past him?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think.
Are you going to put it past him? Because you've seen him show his ass in every single stop
when
he's been at.
When he first gets there, no, we've never seen that. What we're talking about is a scenario where he would get to Milwaukee or wherever he's got. When he first got to Philly, remember when he first got Philly, he was balling. He was balling when that first year in Philly. That was Joel Embiid's sorry ass fault they lost. That wasn't Jimmy Butler's fault. Jimmy Butler was balling in Miami. They're losing now. That wasn't Jimmy Butler got them to a finals. Jimmy Butler was sitting in Milwaukee talking about, nobody saying he was a cancer when he was looking at Drew Holiday in the face saying, I own you. Was he a cancer? You know he was a cancer to the Bucks because he killed us off. That's Jimmy Butler I saw. So you're talking about Jimmy Butler at the end of his 10 years. I'm telling you, this is a Jimmy Butler, if you were bringing him in, who would be at the start of his tenure. And I'm just saying from a historical perspective, we've never seen him acting ass at the beginning of his run anywhere. And the question I'm asking you is he right now a better player than Chris Middleton? Yes or no?
Yes, he is a better player than Chris Middleton. Oh, no. There was 100% a question. No. Let's be clear here. There is 100% a question of whether or not we should bring him in this locker room. Do you think this team is at a point where we can absorb Jimmy, where Jimmy's going to come in here, shut his damn mouth, not show his ass, put his head down and do it? You're going to say...
The rest of the year? Yes. From February until June? Yeah. If you told me I was going to get a title out of it, yeah, I'll take it. And
so you're telling me... So you're telling me a half-season rental for Jimmy... Because isn't Jimmy... No, if you bring Jimmy in this year, here's the thing, though. Jimmy has an opt-in in his contract.
Fine, opt-in.
Jimmy's owed like $54 million next year or something. He's gonna opt into that. Fine. There's no question that he opts into that.
Fine.
So you're gonna be married to Jimmy Butler for probably 2 seasons here, a season and a half if you bring him.
And if I get a title of it, I'll take it. I guarantee you, Toronto the same deal with Kawhi. He didn't want to be anywhere in Toronto. I guarantee you they're happy they did it. I guarantee you they're happy they did it.
Understand that, but we talking about Kawhi Leonard, who's a bit aloof and a bit bizarre and just doesn't want to play, versus Jimmy Butler, who comes in and takes an absolute blowtorch to any and everything, and is just damn near cantankerous. He's like, he gets to the point where teams talk about deactivating him. Nah, we just gotta get that dude out of here because he can't be around.
So when you've seen Jimmy go crazy in Miami, that's because he was the first option. When you saw him go crazy in Philly, he was probably the first option in Philly as well. I know Embiid was there, but we've all seen, if you look at it on Monday Morning Quarterback, Embiid's never been a number one option on any team he's played for, even with Ben Simmons there. That dude, he was ducking high. So I hear all this talk about Jimmy being this great defender. I don't see it. Jimmy, and if you talk to people in Miami, Jimmy is not a great defender. So let's talk about Jimmy when he first got to Miami. He's balling out. No. He doesn't play great defense. He missed 30 of the shots that he took to tie or win the game when he first got to Miami. That's not balling out. So we talk about Chris Middleton with his injury prone, right? He injury prone. That's why we want him out of here. Guess what? Last 5 years, they both equally missed 124 games. Jimmy Butler missed 17 games this year. Chris Middleton's missed 22. Jimmy Butler has quit on his team again. Chris Middleton has been delegated to the bench, still didn't quit on the Bucks. I agree with JT. You bring this dude in, he's a cancer, and you gonna wonder, hey man, they tell you all the time, Don't drink red dye number 5. Don't drink red dye number 5. It's going to give you cancer. Now you got this damn cancer, and you wonder how you got it. Your ass was drinking all that red Gatorade. Now you sitting here with cancer. That's what the Bucks is. And then you know what happens after that? Then Giannis leaves. Then you know what happens after that? We're the Blue Edwards Bucks all over again, where we just scratching the surface to get by. We got a bunch of dudes from the Boys and Girls Club paying for the Bucks, Damon Jones looking dudes, and we out here getting killed by everybody. Jimmy Butler does not like Milwaukee, does not like Marquette, does not like anything about it. I don't want that dude on this team ever.
What Jimmy Butler, and again, so just to the only I say to retort what you said there, Jimmy Butler, you said Jimmy Butler is like himself in Miami because he was the first option. What Jimmy Butler said was he didn't like his role in the offense now because he didn't want to play third option to Bam Adebayo and Tyler Hero, which I understand that because why would you want to play third option to Bam Adebayo and Tyler Hero? He said I don't mind if I'm playing third option to KD and Devin Booker, which is why we know he wants to go to Phoenix. Same scenario when you go again. I think it's the same scenario. Giannis and Dame are not Tyler Hero and Bam Adebayo, so it is a bit different playing third fiddle to two top 75 guys. That is a difference. So yes, I think Jimmy Butler could accept that kind of a role, knowing, I truly am third in the pecking order with these two guys, and you have an opportunity to get your legacy, to really have some legacy-defining moments by winning a championship. And you know another guy who didn't want to come to Milwaukee? You want me to tell you another guy who didn't want any parts of Milwaukee? Damian Lillard.
Oh, see, now why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? Why are we doing this?
And you saw it.
Why are we
doing
there
watching fight videos?
Wow,
his whole first year. You talk about again. I'm not gonna, and I hate to do it because I want to go down the road. I'm not calling it cancer, but he wasted an entire year in Milwaukee. Now again, I will say he stepped in the playoffs, and basically, we almost damn near lucky Giannis got hurt because he wasted a year. He wasted a year of our time. Now he's playing. You can't even deny he's playing much different this year than he was last year. He bullshitted last year. Damian was on bullshit last year.
Damian Lillard was going through some things last year.
Fine.
You had the divorce. He was away from his family. He had,
and now he got Glorilla and he back.
And he was further from his family than he's ever been. Right, his family is from California. He went to school in Ogden, Utah, Weber State. I think that's right. Yeah, and that's an Ogden, Utah.
I can't let you know. He got 50 million reasons. He got 50
right.
million reasons to get that.
So he was out there out west. He came out here. The timing of the trade was there. He felt offended by what Portland did to him. I understand that, but what I'm gonna tell you is, look, you gotta take a man where he's at. If he's sensitive and he has these issues, but I'm just telling you, what I'm saying here is these are facts, not opinion. These are all facts. He was further away from home. He had to divorce from his family. He was struggling. He openly admitted it from a mental health perspective. He was not in good shape. He admitted that he wasn't in shape. Look, I get it. I don't know about want to be here or not. I can't tell. I can't figure that out, right? You can argue he wasted a year with the Bucks, and last year was a wasted year for numerous different reasons. And the only cover I can give him is that, they fired his coach in the middle of the season. They brought in the Bucks weren't even serious last year, even though they tried to convince us they were. They tried to convince us they were serious last year by firing their coach in the middle of the year when that offense was rolling and clicking and trying to tell us, Doc Rivers is the one that can make this happen. We need to make this move right now because Doc can do it, and they still get bounced in the damn first round. Don't get me started on that. But you can't say Damian Lillard. I don't know. I'm not going to say Damian Lillard didn't want to be here. I know he wanted to be in Miami, but he didn't want to be in Milwaukee. He wanted to be tipping down Wisconsin Avenue. I'm just saying.
I can't even believe you made that comparison with Dame when we've talked about how it takes more than 1 year to get this crap together. So did Kyrie waste the first year in Dallas with Luka Duka, or was it that he was just getting himself acclimated? How many years has Jimmy Butler wasted?
Again, Jimmy Butler's playing with cannot make the comparison. Jimmy Butler's playing.
He's wasting years everywhere.
If you want to go that far, Jimmy Butler's been a lot farther in the playoffs than Damian Lillard. If you want to go by itself, if you want to go that far, I don't know that that's the route you want to take. I'm just saying, you don't want me to get the bad. I just don't know if that's the route you want to go as far as comparing what guys have done in the playoffs. Because I've seen Jimmy Butler on two different occasions.
Jimmy Butler averages 20 points in the playoffs.
Jimmy Butler been to the
20
finals.
points.
Jimmy Butler been to the
20
finals.
points.
Jimmy will put a team on his back and do things that we didn't think he could. That is
Jimmy
true.
went to the Fiserv and said, I ain't never seen nobody do that except Giannis. Giannis doesn't own the only two owners of Fiserv have been Giannis Antetokounmpo and Jimmy Butler. Man walked in there, said he owned the place.
Jimmy walked into the finals with probably the best coach in the best system in all of the NBA.
God, now I'm put on.
He ain't never go to no finals with no Sixers. He ain't do it with them Bulls. He ain't do it with the Timberwolves.
He wasn't.
But he going with Spoelstra's system with dudes playing above their basketball play. I mean, you got to think about it.
Karl Anthony Towns in Minnesota.
Huh?
He was playing with Karl Anthony Towns in Minnesota. You gonna tell me it was his fault? Was it his fault they didn't go to the finals in Minnesota? Come on now.
Hey, why he ain't put them on their back? Karl Anthony Towns better than Bam?
Oh my goodness.
Well, he needed the Heat culture. He needed Spo. Spo's arguably are Spo and Steve Kerr are arguably some of the best coaches in the league.
Why they can't go to finals now then since Spo's so damn good?
He's already been. He's been numerous different times. Don't knock Spo.
I go to the finals with LeBron too.
Yeah.
Give me LeBron. I'm in the finals too. Give me LeBron.
But did he make? Did Spo make the finals without LeBron?
Yeah, because Jimmy Butler put on the back. Yeah.
What seed were they going in the playoffs when Jimmy Butler went to war at? Jimmy Butler went crazy.
One was at 7-8, and then they went in the and then they went. What
so they was in the play-in, right?
I don't know.
And Jimmy Butler put that team on his back. They went from the play-in to the finals, and Jimmy Butler put that team on his back. You can't tell me. You could try to say it's a one-man band, but Spo deserves a hell of a lot of credit for that because, again, those boys was outgunned. Them boys was outmatched. You going to tell me Vincent was that dude. Stop playing.
Spo put them 50 points in the basket. Spo was hitting them shots.
But it comes down to situational basketball. They wasn't blowing everybody. You had to find a way. You had to find a Spo. Spo had them boys overachieving.
And Michael Jordan's not the best player in the game because he was playing with Phil Jackson.
Yeah, but how did he look with the Wizards?
He was 40.
How did he look with the Wizards?
Oh, man.
How did he look with the Wizards? Thank you. How did Michael Jordan look with the Wizards? Right. Because Doug Collins was getting it done. Yeah. Get out of here with that mess.
But yeah, man, I'll let you guys get the last word on Jimmy Butler. I just say, Leon says again. My thing is this: he's better than Chris. I'm not saying again. I agree with you guys from a continuity standpoint. You'd rather have Chris Middleton, but again, my point from the other day was desperate times call for desperate measures, and the question is whether or not how desperate do you think the Bucks are to win a title? And again, if they don't, all the guy you're talking about is so well. It's not gonna be a cancer because that guy's gonna be gone. Brook Lopez is going to be gone. Bobby Portis is going to be like all the people that you like. They're going to be good. I'm telling you, this is it. They've run this nostalgia thing out. So this is the last hurrah for these guys. If you are not named Giannis and Dame, there is a good likelihood, and Giannis, Dame, or if you're young, got some upside to you, there is a high likelihood, high degree of probability. If you're making a high salary, you will not be back in Milwaukee if the Milwaukee Bucks don't have a good playoff run. Is what it is. So we can cry about who's going to be on the bench and who can assimilate the culture. Culture's going to change anyway. It's going to change if they don't win. All this is dead.
That's true. And I would look, and I would agree, and I'll take it even further. If you have another first round exit, that pressure cooker, you were now everybody is literally in the pressure cooker.
Including Horst. John Horst is going to.
That's what I'm saying.
John Horst is gone too. Yes, 100%.
Right. Well, I think if you have another first round exit, I do think there is a probability. I don't know what percentage it is. But there's a probability that you're looking at. All right, you're going to see numerous different trades in that. Just a kind of a total tear down, maybe outside of Giannis and Dame, and even then, maybe you move Dame if this thing just don't work. If you have another first round exit this year, I think I think that comes. And then the next question comes down to: does Giannis want to come back, or do you start seeing that I want out of here? That's 3 straight years of the first round exit. Oh, that's a problem.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, first round exit. A lot of people's seat. I think everybody's seat would be hot in the Pfizer. Look, man, if you were talking about trading for a 29-year-old, 28-year-old Jimmy Butler, I'd be more than willing to entertain it. With this being year 36 of him, and him just not showing it. I mean, we could talk about that. Jimmy Butler is a better player than Chris Middleton. I don't see it in 24-25 at all. This dude is driving a bad team to a worse team. Chris Middleton missed games because of legit ankle surgery. This dude missed games because he don't want to be there and he forcing his way out. And he want to show Pat Riley that I'm the big dog here and you're not. And him and Pat Riley are in this pissing contest. And what I really hope for the Miami Heat with their stupid ass Heat culture is I hope they both keep pissing and they piss on each other and they piss their season down their legs and they don't see the playoffs.
That's a lot of pee. That's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot. So that's just a lot of pissing, and then you talk about them pissing on each other, and I get it. I couldn't pause you because it wasn't pause worthy, but I didn't know where you were going.
There's just a lot of pee going around.
Just piss.
I didn't know where you were going like that. It wasn't pause worthy. It was questionable.
Golden shower match. You talking?
Right. Yeah. All right. All right.
Okay. Let's keep rolling. Here. Good discussion. Well, I'm just saying. That's what they call it, right? That's what they call it, don't they? Good discussions here. As we keep rolling. Let's see. I'm just saying. Let's go to Twitter and see what they came up with on Twitter.
Trade everybody.
Oh, quick draw McGraw says R. Kelly has entered the chat. Okay. Yes, that's a lot going on. All right, let's see what's happening on Twitter. At KasuG18 says, honestly, we should go get Kai Jones from the Clippers. He's athletic, tall, can play defense, and ship Bobby off to wherever. Again, this is going to be a constant refrain. All the Twitter is just somehow getting rid of Bobby. Kai Jones, though, what are we doing? NYC Randy says, nothing to say about this one except the Bucks look like they finally found their rhythm and identify as a team. A really simple one. We have a Giannis and a Dame. Dame shows up. We win 98% of the time. Great win. On to the next one. Trade for Butler or get a big for Bobby. At the Wisconsin kid says Dame and Giannis played great tonight. Solid. Middleton. Only Bobby Portis can score 15 off the bench and still be terrible. Trade his ass. At RJ30K says bench doesn't suck. I know Justin just listens to this like damn all the time. At RMill53 says did not appreciate the trolling at all. Those early fourth quarter lines are killing us. Bobby Portis is a terrorist. Other than that, good win overall, especially considering that our role players kind of sucked. Let's do two more here. At Classy Nall says 3 blowouts in a row, 1 more loss than the Knicks. We're coming for that 3rd seed. Dame and Giannis are elite, and Middleton looked good today too. And last one, at Dame Got Me says lazy defense. Bobby needs to be exiled. So again, we have the constant theme of winning games, and people. Again, is it just a narrative at this point, or you think like, every night in the comments, people are just sick and tired of Bobby Portis, and I mean. I think here, and I go to this again, and that's why I go to the team in currently construction cannot win. Can you win with Chris Middleton? Yes, you can. I truly don't believe, and I truly don't believe you can win if Bobby Portis is on this team past the trade deadline. I just don't. I don't see it. I really don't. Because in the play, they're just matchups where, especially if you have Brooke and Bobby on the same team, that's asking a lot out of y'all. You're already asking him to basically give you 30 a night every night. Now you're asking him to pick up the slack all over. It's just too much slack for me when you look at some of the teams. You look at Boston, you look at Cleveland, you look at New York. It's a lot when you got some guys that have some real defensive issues. But that's neither here nor there. And here's the thing. John Horst is going to do something. He always does. He's going to do something. So.
Yeah. Well, that's the question. I mean, are we looking at a situation where, and I know we'll have the capologists on here too, or are we looking at a situation where maybe you see Bobby and Chris both get moved?
Well, yeah. The only way Chris gets moves is at this point, they talk. I don't think LaVine is really. I don't think the Bucks. Again, LaVine. Again, the thing, and this is why the Jimmy Butler thing is so intriguing, because Jimmy Butler actually solves some problems that you have when you talk about another. Because again, when you look at it, Jimmy Butler can defend a Jaylen Brown or a Jason Tatum, a Donovan Mitchell. He can defend. I know you shake your head, but I'm just, okay. In theory, he can defend those type of players and not provide a huge drop-off on the offensive end. There aren't guys like that out there. Zach LaVine is not – he can't defend us. He cannot do it. He doesn't have the body type to do it.
I agree. He's an upgrade over Chris at this point, but what does he solve? What
he gives you another, he gives you another hole, because now you have another wing who cannot defend or an adequate – that's what I'm saying. Yes, are there some things Zach LaVine can do? Yeah, he can put up 40. He can. but
he get a bucket. Right.
Yeah, he's a bucket getter. But yeah, he that's another hole that you have to solve. So again, I don't think if Chris is gone, I think the only person that the Bucks are seriously interested in is Jimmy Butler. I don't think they have any interest in moving Chris for anybody else at this time. From anything I've heard.
And I don't know too much about I don't know a ton about the situation with Beal in Phoenix. I do know that we've been interested in him before, and I do know that he would have to waive his no trade clause. So I am a bit curious to see if that becomes something that we pivot to with Brad Beal. But again, I agree with you. Brad Beal, I think, can get buckets. It's not an issue. But defensively, what does he bring to the table? And I think that's another question. But the only reason I even bring up the Chris and Brad Beal is because that was a rumor out there. And didn't Brad Beal confirm that they was going to do Middleton?
Yeah, that was a few years ago. And that's a good thing that they didn't do that, because Bradley Beal, to me, what we've seen is as a third option, he is not a bucket like he was in Washington. It's different playing in Washington where you're the guy versus being, in Phoenix, and you're the third fiddle. Yeah, he doesn't seem like he can. He has had a hard time. You talk about assimilating the culture. He's had a hard time assimilating into that lineup, which is why Phoenix continues to struggle. Sorry.
No, Bazemore said that third. When it came Bazemore said coming off and being that third option is the hardest thing to do in the world, and I just don't see it with a 36-year-old dude coming. I mean, it's bigger than just trade him, man. I mean, if you've been a Bucks fan long enough, you'll remember Tim Thomas getting traded. You'll remember Ray Allen getting traded. You remember dudes who wanted to legit be here, who bought into what we were trying to establish here in Milwaukee, being traded off for a bunch of guys who came here, collected a check, and then left us in back to the original one in the piss that we lay in. Like, I don't want to go back to that. And I don't think Jimmy Butler brings enough. If you're trading, if you're getting younger, if you're trading with somebody that's ascending, I could even understand that. And for all you trade Bobby, when Bobby's gone, getting buckets somewhere else, and we insert role player here, I've heard Patrick Williams, I've heard Larry Nance, and they suck ass here, then whose fault is it going to be?
Well, again, the difference is, we say suck ass, the difference is, to me, those guys are going to play a different kind of a role. And yeah, Larry Nance isn't going to get post. Here's a Larry Nance post. There ain't 6 Larry Nance post-ups that coming. Those are going to, and I don't mind if Dame gets 4 more shots a game and Giannis gets 4 more shots a game because we gave up some shots that were going to. I don't mind that at all. That's all. So I get it, and you increase on the defensive end. So you talking about buckets? I see a rebound, a contested rebound that Larry Nance might sky for. That's all I'm saying.
That's the weakest take ever, the contested rebound thing. Like, please disable that dude Twitter. You shouldn't even be able to watch the Bucks no more. That shit just dumb.
Listen, it is a thing. Though there are again 50-50 balls. I think he has. Those are harder for him to come by. Like it's a thing. And again, there are some guys that do. Like again, I think I'm just doing. Josh Hart is fine. Somehow basketball. Josh Hart finds the basketball. 50-50, he's finding it every time. Like that there are guys out there like that. Even to a certain extent, Draymond in his prime. Key moments, I'm finding the basketball. He just did. Like there are guys that are out there that do that, especially if you want that rough, tough guy role. That's what I like to see. All right, let's get back on track here. 130-112, Bucks win it tonight. Let's go game balls. Where you guys going?
Man, you know what? I'm gonna go with Damian Lillard for how well he played in that first half. Bit of a drop off there in the second half, but that first half he was a very big reason why this Bucks team was foot on the gas kind of the whole way through. What he finished tonight with? He finished tonight 26, 8, and 3. Now his field goal shooting, he was 6 for 14 in this game, but in that first half he was 5 for 8, right? 4 for 7 from 3. So, you can obviously see the second half it didn't really work out as well for him. But the way he came out again and just helped build that momentum for this Bucks team, Damian Lillard, you get my game ball tonight, sir.
Justin, where you going?
So, do y'all know what number Bob Uecker wore when he played for the Braves?
Nope. Be honest.
Number 9.
He did?
Number 9.
Number 9.
So, but I'm I'm gonna give my game ball. I should give it to number 9 on the Milwaukee Bucks, but I think in unison of everything that happens, I'm gonna go outside and I'm gonna just give it to Bob Uecker just for being him.
There you go.
Nothing else to me tonight's about anything else but Bob Uecker.
There you go. Nothing wrong with the U Club there. 100%. And then I'm gonna give my game ball. I'm gonna go Giannis. I mean, again, 35 and 13, 3 assists tonight, 1 steal, 1 block. Talk about hung out with Allie and Oop and all that. I mean, he continues to do it all, man. Continues to do it all every single night. And I mean, yeah, tonight there were a lot of solid performances tonight. But Dame really elevated, and John gave him the ball. So I'm gonna go with Giannis as the Bucks completed a very good win. Very, very good win for the Milwaukee Bucks tonight, 131-12. Let's see. Seth the Man says, KML 92 says, don't bring Jimmy Butler into the locker room. Disaster waiting to happen. Let's see. Charles Mills says, too much Bobby hate. Yeah, Seth Man says, Jimmy's not a 3-point shooter, never has been. So I think Quick Draw McGraw says he makes them when it counts, which again, that is kind of true. But yeah, again, this is going to continue for the next 3 weeks to see how this thing plays out. Yay, tonight the Nets and Lakers are in a hotly contested one right now in the third quarter, 65-63. Celtics get a win over the Magic tonight, 121-94. The Knicks lose to the Timberwolves. The Hornets beat the Bulls. They get their 10th win of the year. The Pelicans 136-123 over the Jazz. The Heat did lose to the Nuggets tonight, 133-113. Mavericks, I mean, you talk about Jason Kidd. He's battling without Luka, and they get a win over the Oklahoma City Thunder, 106-98. Did everybody play for Oklahoma City? Just want to check this out. Oh, okay, no. Shea didn't play. So Shea didn't play tonight, so that makes sense. Dallas beats Oklahoma City. And then the Grizzlies, I think that was a tight game for a minute, but the Grizzlies pulled ahead 140-112 over the Spurs. And the third quarter, the fourth quarter, they just blew the Spurs out. So some good stuff there. Good stuff around the league. Playoffs, this will be last time we talked before some games. Go ahead, Justin.
I got a question. You went through that Miami score too pretty fast. Can you read Jimmy's stat line too while we at it?
All right, let's pull up Jimmy. Let's see what Jimmy did tonight against the Denver Nuggets.
I got you. 7 for 15 from the floor, 0 for 2 from 3-point land, 18 points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists, and a whopping minus 11.
No, that was Bam had 11 rebounds, 4 assists. Yeah, 18, 3 and 2, 7, 15. Yeah. Yeah, he's minus 11. Yeah, they got beat by 20 tonight. They might they're not a good basketball again. Yeah, he does. You know what? He play his 2 best players. He plays with his Bam Adebayo and Tyler Hero. He doesn't play with Damian Lillard and Giannis Antetokounmpo. So yeah, I'm not surprised he was a minus 11. It is what it is. But you know what I see? I see 33 minutes. I see he went out there and hadn't played in 7 games. He been off 10 days, came out, played 35 minutes. Something to be said for getting out there, though. I say that. And again, Jimmy Butler, I think he is still upset. I don't know what he said. I'm looking at, I see him on the screen right now. And I don't know what he said in his press conference. But again, you're talking about a disgruntled player. So obviously he's upset. I think it's one of the things where, if he gets to a different spot, I just don't. Again, can he blow up? Absolutely. Do I think that he is gonna? I think he wants to get to a new spot, so I think he's gonna act right for a little bit. And he's in the day you put him in a competitive series. I think Jimmy Butler's gonna do all he can to win the game.
I think the question you do have to ask though is, can Jimmy perform if he's not? Like, does Jimmy need to be happy to perform? That's a question I think you need to ask. Is like, does he need to be happy to perform? If the answer to that is no, then maybe you think about that risk, right? If the answer to that is yes, then no, you certainly don't touch that. Now, to me, it sounds like he would be happy in Phoenix, right? I don't know how open he is to. And again, have we seen any credence to these rumors? There were rumors that I saw rumors that he was telling teams, don't even think about trading for me because I'm not coming.
He has. He told Memphis. No, well, he told Memphis that, and then there was the rumor that Milwaukee was. I think people. So the report that Chris Haynes came out with was that he told Memphis and he told some other teams not to do it, and then people took that report and somehow made up that Milwaukee was in that list, and then the reports came out later that Butler's camp never told Milwaukee not to trade for him. So it sounds like again. I think you're correct. Phoenix seems to be his preferred destination. Again, it seems like really to me it seems like a Dame situation where Miami was Dame's was his clear preferred choice, and he had to settle for Milwaukee. It's very clear that Phoenix is Jimmy Butler's first choice. He may have to settle for somewhere else, but it does not sound like he has said no to Milwaukee. Because again, there's not a lot of suitors out there. Like I really think we are just down to Milwaukee and Phoenix. I don't think that I do not think that anybody's left that's in these sweepstakes.
So either stay
So yeah, so that's where they're at on that. Quick Drama Gross says, trust me, the Celtics are praying that we show up Bobby Portis and Chris Middleton and hoping to God we don't bring Jimmy. I will say that I do. That's funny because I never thought about that. I do think there may be some credence to. I think Jimmy Butler does put a little. Again, you saw Brandon Jennings call Jason Tatum soft, right?
No, I didn't catch it.
Brandon Jennings said he's softest Celtics superstar all time. Again, I don't think Jason Tatum's soft. Like soft. I don't think he's as hard as some guys. I don't think he's afraid of Jimmy Butler or scared. I don't want to say it like that. I do think Jimmy Butler puts a little bit of fear in. Let me say this. I'll say this and I'll leave it alone. I think Jimmy Butler, the threat of Jimmy Butler, puts a little bit more fear in your heart than Chris Middleton. Because if Jimmy Butler is playing like Jimmy Butler, there's a little ooh. Because it ain't like he just shoot you jump. He gonna talk to you while he do it. It's a very different style. Very different.
I don't like to use the word fear because I don't think he's scared. I think Jimmy puts that pressure. I think Jimmy pushed the pressure. Jimmy gonna turn this thing up a notch. It's interesting thing about Tatum. Tatum takes a lot of hard shots, by the way. When you watch him play, it's just like, Anyway, having said that, yeah, I do think you're right. That intensity turns up a notch when it's Jimmy because Jimmy's gonna give you his absolute best, and he's gonna be ignorant about it too, right? So you just gotta. I get that. I could see that.
Yeah, I mean, I hear it. I just haven't seen that Jimmy come out and be that Jimmy Butler since he did it to Drew Holiday. Then the rest of the playoffs were complete.
You know who else played for the Boston Celtics?
Who?
I know Drew Holiday don't want to see Jimmy Butler. Drew Holiday don't want to see Jimmy Butler coming.
I don't think at Jimmy at 36 imparts the same fear that he did at Jimmy as 30, 33, 34, man. I just think that Father Time's undefeated. Jimmy's getting older. Clearly, Chris is getting older. The one thing that Chris' skill set does, it helps us more than Jimmy's does. He can create fine shots. Chris Middleton can score the ball. I'm not sure that Jimmy Butler can score the ball. And if you shrink his minutes tonight to what Chris has, it's even worse.
And that's the thing. You don't have to shrink his minutes, though. That's what I'm getting at. I don't. Again, if you told me Chris Middleton's gonna be 100% healthy, I could get that. I just have no idea. That's my thing. I fear the unknown, and I don't know what Chris Middleton is going to be. I don't know. To some extent, we don't know what Jimmy Butler's going to be, but it is what it is. Go ahead.
I say that's a good point.
Yeah. Playoffs. What are you guys thinking for Saturday and tomorrow? For Saturday and Sunday. Interesting. There seems to be some snow that's going to be in the area. You got Texans Chiefs. You're going to start things off in the afternoon, and then you have Commanders Lions, which is going to be that one is. Some people think that the Commanders could pull off an upset, and then you have.
Let me save y'all some money. Not happening. It's not happening. It's not happening. It's not happening. The Lions are going to beat that ass. This is not happening. It's not happening. I'm just going to tell y'all right now. And the reason why it's not going to happen is because Monty's coming back for the Lions too. So
What
you
he
gonna
gonna
get
look like? I don't know what he looks
you
like, but
gonna
it's.
you gonna get Sonic Knuckles. They gonna get the passing game going. That Washington
Do you
defense
think he
is
come back too
suspect.
early? Do you think he rushed back?
I don't know. I honestly I don't know if they're gonna need him. I think that offense. I think the Commanders' defense is weak, and I don't see it. Like I feel like I mean Detroit has a lot of injuries, but I think the Commanders' defense. I think the Commanders' defense is weak, and the question I have to ask is can they keep pace with that scoring too? Because I don't know, man. I see the Lions put up 35 at least against the Commanders team. And that's technically the home squad. I want to see them, but it's just not going to happen. Like I think the Commanders get absolutely steamrolled against this Lions team. I don't see it.
I tell you, same thing I told you the other day. Jaden Daniels got 15 plus carries. Run. He needs to run the rock all day long for them to have a shot.
And if they run the ball in them like that too, that keeps the ball out of Goff's hands, which allows that score to go down. I'm gonna go.
Well, that's true.
I'm gonna go Washington.
Wait, are you going? Well, hang on. Are you going Washington to cover the spread of 9.5? Or are you going Washington to win? But you go Washington money line.
For wild card money line this weekend, I'm about to put this parlay in right away. I'm gonna put it in right now here live on the show. I'm going KC, Washington, LA, Baltimore.
Money line all.
Money line all.
Money line all.
Hey. Give me what? So you're picking Kansas City over the Texans. I am too. I think that they'll again. I want to see Mahomes, and I know he will get back to the level of guy that that we've seen him be, and I think you're going to start to see in the playoffs again. It always happens. That he looks like the Mahomes of old, and I think again that team is just going to be a little too much for CJ Stroud. And I'm taking the Chiefs tomorrow in the afternoon game.
Oh yeah, look, I agree. I don't think that. So look, let me be clear. I don't think this Chiefs team is good. I just
you don't. Think they're good.
Let me walk this back. I don't think this Chiefs team looks good. I think that Andy Reid is a great guy. Mahomes, I get it. They just don't look like that dominant team to me. Having said that, this Texas team is going to have a snowball's chance. This Texans team is going to get that ass beat tomorrow. There's no question about it. They really haven't looked that great to me either this year. I think the Chiefs should easily cover against this Texans team. I don't know if CJ Stroud's taking a step back. There's an argument. They say, well, he can only play in decent weather. He can only play inside. He doesn't look as good as he did last year. He's lost a lot of his weapons too. No Tank Dell, no stuff. At some point, that's going to bite you. At some point, I think that's going to bite you. You've got Nico Collins out there. You've got Dalton Schultz. You've got somewhat. But I just don't think offensively you have a strong enough team to actually beat this Kansas City Chiefs team. Not going to happen. Give me the Chiefs taking the points. Give me the Chiefs covering the spread.
I'm with you on that. What is the spread? 8.5? Is that right? 9.5?
Yeah, is that what it is? That seems like I said, I wouldn't be. I don't know, just how they played in the regular season. I would think that Houston may be able to come close. I think Texas. I think Kansas is going to finish it out, but I don't know. Kansas City could come to play, and we'll see if they do. I think they'll be fine. Rams Eagles will be interesting. I thought the Eagles looked a little shaky last week against the Packers, but again, the Rams got themselves an upset win over the Minnesota Vikings. Just absolutely look so much better than Minnesota. Do you think they have an opportunity to do that against the Eagles?
I'd say so. I mean, if they can stump like that and get pressure with that front four, they're good. There's not a lot of teams in this NFL that's going to beat them. I mean, including anybody on that AFC side of the ball. I don't care who's quarterbacking the ball. When you got guys in your face like that, you can't throw the ball from your butt.
I don't think the Rams have a chance, to be honest. First off, the Rams play indoors. You got to go in the cold. They're talking about there being 3 to 5 inches of snow on the ground. This Philly team is made to ground and pound. This Philly team is made to run. Yes, they have a lot of talent in between Goddard, Smith, and Brown in the passing game. But this Philly team is made to run. They can give Saquon Barkley 25, 30 carries very easily. Give me the Eagles. I just don't see it. I think the Rams overachieved last week. I think the Vikings absolutely crapped themselves. But I think they're going to go in. They're going to run to an absolute buzzsaw in Philly. I think give me the Philly cold. Give me the Eagles. It's going to be Eagles and Lions in that NFC Championship game.
Yeah, I want to say the Eagles, but I feel like the Rams definitely have a chance. I feel like they have an opportunity, like you said, Justin, if they can get that defense rolling, that front four. But again, the Eagles, the run game we talk about, it should behoove themselves to that, especially have playing in the elements, and then there will be elements as well. Game of the year, Ravens Bills until the next one in the AFC, until whoever has to play the Chiefs. But Ravens Bills, that one, I mean, just all the build up. In the MVP showdown, basically Lamar and Josh Allen. Again, just want to say, I really think that the snow and the weather there is going to help the Ravens in the same way. Again, you talk about the run game. You're talking about King Henry and you're talking about Lamar. Like they should. I think the Ravens win. I think the Ravens win. I think the Ravens beat the Bills. And again, that's a lot of hard questions going to be asked in Buffalo if they get bounced by the Ravens. But it is what it is, and I like Lamar Jackson. I think he's the MVP. He's gonna have an opportunity to show it. And yeah, I think they run wild over Buffalo. It's gonna be a close game. I think it's gonna be nip tuck all the way through. But again, talk about a difference maker in this game. They don't have Justin Tucker has not been what he once was. So that could come into play if you don't have a kicker. It had a kicking game. I think all weekend is going to be important. It always it always is important. But teams that don't have that consistency at the kicker spot, you're gonna need it. Ravens Bills I think it will come down to less than a field goal, whoever wins. But I'm gonna go with the Ravens.
So here's the thing. Go ahead.
No, I'll be brief. I think the Ravens are the better team. I think they're better at darn near every position, including QB. So I think they're gonna get them. And I don't think it's gonna be what you say, a couple point game.
Yeah.
I think that I'm gonna go Ravens. 10 points or more.
The spread is actually Baltimore's favored by 1.5. 10 points is tough. Go ahead.
So here's my thing. Here's the thing, right? So Derrick Henry, the way he ran the ball last week, right? Derrick Henry, I think, is your X factor going to be in that because you know what Lamar's going to do. You know he's going to cook. But the other question is, no Zay Flowers. That's kind of a big deal. This Buffalo defense is very, very good. So taking Zay Flowers out of this equation, that's a big factor in your passing game. That's your Pro Bowl receiver. Can Bateman and Aguilar, can these guys step up and kind of, cover the gap here, right? Like, I mean, yeah, Mark Andrews is going to do his thing, right? Can likely have the game of his life to beat this team. I don't know. The reality of it is, though, is you got to think the Bills are going to be probably keyed on stopping Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry went crazy. He had 150 yards last week. You think he's going to put that up against this Bills defense? I'm not really sure. And the other issue is John Harbaugh and Mike Tomlin. There's a bunch of coaches in this category that have gotten in the playoffs, and for whatever reason, it just doesn't work. Now, Mike Tomlin has a bit more of an excuse because he's gone to the playoffs with these terrible quarterbacks. But John Harbaugh's got 3-time MVP. So the question you really ask yourself is, okay, John, I'm saying Lamar's going to be 3-time MVP. Okay, John, how are you going to make this thing work? How are you going to earn your paycheck tomorrow? Because by and large, this Buffalo Bills defense is probably that's the best defense you're gonna face before the Super Bowl. Like literally, if you win, that's the best defense. That might be honestly the Buffalo Bills defense might be the best defense left in the playoffs at this point. So when you really think about that, because Detroit, everybody's hurt. Kansas City defense is good, but I don't think they're ranked as high as Buffalo. The Commanders' defense is trash. The Rams' defense is decent, but I think the Buffalo defense is that the only. Philly's defense is also. I think Philly has good. Yeah, Philly's a good defense. Right. Yeah. So Philly and Buffalo. Right. Either way, this is the hardest defense you're going to face if you're John Harbaugh before you get to the Super Bowl. So I don't know if he can make those adjustments and make that work. The biggest thing, though, remember though, it's going to be cold on that East Coast. It's going to be very, very cold on that East Coast. I think they're supposed to get some snow too.
Yeah, no, it's some snow out there.
And that, yeah, so that's I don't know. I mean, look, if it's snow on the ground, if it's a couple inches on the ground, He might have to give me Buffalo.
That to me, but see, that's what I'm saying. To me, that's advantage. That's advantage Baltimore. That's you again. Who wants to hit Derrick Henry in the sub 15 degree? Hey, I don't know. Nobody. What's it say about LeGarrette Blunt? Nobody want to hit that blunt. I don't want to hit Derrick Henry. I don't want to hit Derrick Henry in that cold. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting. It's definitely gonna be a fun. It's gonna be a fun weekend, man. I enjoy playoff football, man. It just can't. It doesn't get any better than the NFL in the playoffs. But we'll have Arnie Cheesy Q's tomorrow as well. We'll get into it. I don't know. Justin, did you see any of this Unrivaled? I didn't watch any. I'm looking at highlights now. I know you're a women's basketball connoisseur. Did you check out any of Unrivaled stuff? The 303?
No, I didn't see. I didn't see any of the Unrivaled stuff, but
Okay.
since we're talking about women's basketball, how about Dawn Staley with that big extension she got?
I did see that. Yeah, she
Very,
did.
very, very well deserved. And
Yeah.
one thing I'll say this about Dawn Staley, when you think about people like Pat Summitt, you think about your icons in the women's basketball, the college thing who moved this thing forward. Pat Summitt, entire legend for what she did, but the way Dawn Staley is moving this thing forward, the way Dawn Staley is advancing the game of basketball and being an overall ambassador for women's college basketball, not to mention, down there and winning and doing her thing in South Carolina, man, worth every single penny, 100% worth every single penny. And good luck to her. Really good luck to her. I don't like anything about the SEC, but you got to give credit where it's due, and that's Dawn Staley.
Last thing I want to ask you guys about. Did you see Maverick Carter is looking to get some funds for an international basketball league that will rival this one? He wants to rival the NBA. Any thoughts on that?
Oh, for like a 5-on-5 league?
Yeah, I think he's trying to do a real. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I don't know. Apparently, LeBron doesn't have any involvement in it, but it sounds like he wants that Saudi money.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna tell you. That's what that sounds like. The clutch sports, the Saudi money. That hey, tail end of your career, they'll give you $30 million. Nobody else will to go over there and play 20 games. They'll give you. This doesn't surprise me. This doesn't surprise me, and I do think the Saudi money trickles into the NBA in the next 2 years, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, trying to go against the big dogs of established leagues that have already been established and throw money at guys. I mean, unless you're getting NBA guys, it's going to be tough for you to get lifelong NBA fans like us, in my opinion, to flip over to see Vuli Valanciunas going against Goki Freaky or whatever the dude is.
Well, no, I don't think. See, here's my question though, Justin, because this is the only thing I say. Because I don't know what the salary cap looks like or whatnot. But I'm not talking about the random old guy. I'm talking about what's Gary Trent Jr. making this year? $3 million? He making a minimum, vet minimum. What if I told you, Gary? What if I was in that league and I told you I can get a Gary Trent, not an old guy. I'm talking legit rotational. This is a player. Gary Trent is a player in the NBA, legit. Yeah, I give you $15 million to come over here and play. Give me Gary Trent. Give me who else is making an Torian Prince is on a minimum. But those type of guys that because of salary cap, they want to play for winning teams, and so they've taken a little less to go do it. Yeah, what if I'm getting those type of players, and then you're adding in your guys at the end of the day, like you're James Harden for he can get 50 here, he can get 80 in the Saudi league, or Jimmy Butler. They don't want to give you 50 million, Jimmy. We'll give you 75, Jimmy. Kind of like the PGA, the live.
So live golf,
Yeah.
right. And the Saudi money, I mean, the money does talk. You get a guy, and even if you get a guy who's like 29, 30 their career,
Right.
31, 32, and they go, you know what, I'm gonna go play over here for a year. Because they just offered me $70 million, and I'm not that, like you said, in the NBA. Even if you're not getting Garrett, I could 100% see that happening. I can 100% see someone like Anthony Edwards, perfect example. After this next contract's up, they say, listen, we'll give you $80 million for a seat. I can see somebody doing that.
Now, if that starts happening, now where your boy Trevor Noah was talking about, now I can listen to it because you got players, legit players that are not in the NBA. If you could get that going, yeah, I you know, I can say, okay, yeah, maybe you're right. You're not the world champs. You're not playing the best of the best. Yeah, if you have Anthony Edwards who will defect over, or those type of guys, yeah, I'm with you. Or like the best players coming out of college, and they're like, yeah, this rookie wage scale in the NBA ain't it. I don't want that rookie deal in the NBA. I want 50 million right, because it's a big difference. If I don't know what rookies get, but they're on the wage scale. Yeah, if you 50 million year one, let's say Cooper Flag, instead of getting, let's say it's $7 million, what he's gonna get. I don't know what that number is, 7-8. But if you're in the Saudi league, I'm giving you 25 year one. It's a big deal. So
I think the thing that you'll see that'll block it from happening though is the endorsements. And as long as the NBA has those endorsements, because you're not just signing for just your NBA money, you're signing for your endorsements as well. That's why Liv doesn't do so well. They don't have the TV broadcast, and they got a lot of guys who used to be him, but now they've went there, with the exception of Brooks and Bryson. But the rest of those dudes, a lot of them struggle to compete. You look at your boy from Charlotte, Harold Varner III, he's over there. So, yeah, you'll see a Gary Trent or something like that go over there to get 12 to 15, but I still think the vast majority of your talent is going to be in the NBA, not just because you're on the court contracts, but you're off the court.
All good stuff. And then you're right, because I couldn't take. I think what are they on? What is Live Golf on? The CW? Yeah,
I think they just signed it. They are CW, but they just switched the deal, I think, to come back to Fox now.
Oh, okay.
But remember, all that stuff started happening when the PGA Tour found a way to incorporate them dudes back in.
Yeah.
Without that PGA umbrella, you miss out on a lot. Them endorsements are real.
Yeah.
Hey.
No. Huh?
My bad. One more thing. I know you said real quick. Hey, in the look around, UW Milwaukee beat Youngstown State. Big Bart Wundy. Bart knows basketball. Getting the win. And lastly, wasn't it Roki Sasaki? Dodgers get richer. That number one international prospect. He's a Dodger now. Lord have mercy.
Yeah. No, this is one of these where Dodgers don't win at all. It's like, how do you not? That's total disappointment if you can't win it all and you have that type of firepower. So yeah, 100% with you on that one. Bucks win tonight, fellas, 130-112. Any final word? I'll give you guys any final words on the Bucks beating the Raptors tonight. Are we good? I think we can. I'm okay being off on Sunday. If you guys are,
yeah, I mean, because it's like because it's during the game. It's during
you got Philly. Embiid's not playing, and you're right, and it's during the playoffs.
And it's the playoffs. Like, listen, like I get it, right? Like, America's obsessed with football, so like it's not. It's just one of the things where we can chalk up Monday. What's the next game after that?
Yes,
at New
Sunday.
Orleans Wednesday.
Yeah, the next one will be New Orleans on Wednesday.
On Wednesday?
Yeah. So yeah, why don't we do that? Maybe we'll maybe we can do a video. Maybe we do like a 10-minute. Maybe I get Chris and we do like a 10-minute video or something like that, and just do a little video after the game and put that out at some point. Doing a little recap,
like on-demand style content. Or something?
Yeah. Maybe we do something like that.
I ain't watching no football Sunday because I'm straight on that right now. Hey man, we
don't talk about this tomorrow with Matt LaFleur though, because listen, like Matt, I had a conversation last week and I said, is Dan Campbell a better coach than Matt LaFleur? And last week I said, no, Matt LaFleur, blah blah blah. But listen,
Jonathan Porter said no off day. So,
but you think was it Matt LaFleur's? You think it's Matt LaFleur's fault that they lost?
I don't know if it's Matt LaFleur's fault, but it's kind of like Tomlin used to. No, but you still got to own this performance. You still got to own. You still got to own this performance of your team. And what I'm saying is that I think next year will be the referendum on Matt LaFleur because if it's another first round exit and it's like or if it's if they're not taking a step forward and they don't make it really to the conference championship game. Then I think you kind of do ask that question, because here's the thing about Matt LaFleur. If you really want the true referendum on him, you did your best when you had that Hall of Fame quarterback. You made it to those 3 NFC championship games when you had Aaron Rodgers, that Hall of Fame quarterback. Now that he's out of the picture,
so when it's Jimmy Butler, it's Eric Spoelstra that's doing it. When it's Matt LaFleur, it's all about Aaron Rodgers. Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay, I see where we're going now.
But here's the difference. I've seen post Aaron Rodgers. I've seen post Aaron Rodgers though. I've seen, you see what I'm saying? Like I've seen a different. I've seen you without Aaron Rodgers, right? You couldn't even make it. First off, if we being real about it, at least Spo got them to the championship game. Aaron Rodgers, he couldn't. They had chances to win all three of them NFC championship games. What they got there and just shit everywhere. Shit everywhere. One year Aaron Rodgers had like 3-4 turnovers by himself. Just what is that?
We got intruders in here. We got Barrett Lowe show them got back from his ban.
No.
He said, Cream City back on K-Mitty. Creamy boys making noise. Come on now. Creamy crew, what it do? What's wrong with this man?
Hey man, you know what though? All in good fun, man. You know what? I ain't gonna
I'm not messing with him today. Yeah, but like I said, again, I mentioned it to him, today because I said to him, you can't call everybody a hater. Are you calling? That was my question. Are you calling John Horst a hater because John Horst is dangling Chris Middleton and does John Horst hate Chris Middleton? It doesn't make any sense. Like you can't just because somebody has a different opinion than your opinion on Chris Middleton. Again, that's what we said from the beginning. Nobody's ever said Chris Middleton sucks. Nobody said he sucks. What we said is, I don't
think.
I'm saying. The question is always about what it's going to look like from a health perspective. It's really not about his game. It's really about his health for me.
I don't think just because you have a different opinion makes anybody a hater. Well, I will say is 90% of the people on Bucks Twitter are haters on Bobby Portis because no matter what that dude do, that dude could go for 30 and 13 and they'll be like, well, he had one pass he threw out of bounds. Talking about someone's health, talking about, hey, look, you got to entertain the conversations because they're out there. If you're a true Bucks postgame, you're going to talk about everybody being traded, whether it be Brook Lopez. Hell, when we get to the day when we're talking about trading Giannis, we'll entertain that too. Whoever it is, we root for the front of the jersey.
That's where I draw the line.
And I say, my thing is that listen, as long as what we sharing is facts, right? Then like, I just don't see the argument against that. And I think the reality of it is one thing you can say is we keep it above. We say what we see. We don't just pull shit out of our ass. Like we say what we see. And when it comes to Middleton, we've been very candid. When it comes to Bobby, we've been very candid. When it comes to Dame, we've been very candid. When it comes to
especially when it came to Dame, like I said, and again, that's why I just it's not about it because you would think I did a 180 on Dame from last year, this year, especially if you listen to the show, the way we talk about Dame last year versus the way we talk about him this year. And again, it had nothing to do with my feelings about Dame. It's all about Dame's production. The reason I've changed how I talk about Dame is because he's changed the way he's played. And it really started in that Indiana series. So your play dictates how I talk about you. And that's how it will always be for me with everybody we talk about. And again, it's personal guys I don't like, not on the Bucks, but I'm talking about just around the league that I may not care for. But for the most part, for the Bucks, anybody we talk about, I'm solely talking about what I'm looking at from an on-court perspective, whether I like you or don't like you, what have you. Same thing again. I didn't like Doc Rivers taking over for Adrian Griffin, for Dr. Griffin, right? But what do we do with Doc Rivers? I don't hold a grudge with Doc. I'm not mad. Doc Rivers is the coach. I want Doc Rivers to win every game. I want to win a championship so that we can. So all of you are like, well, Doc, you can't win with Doc Rivers. Let me show you that we can. Let's show you what Doc Rivers can do. Y'all said that because he was in Philly with a bum old Joel Embiid. Doc Rivers here, we going for Doc Rivers. If Kenny Atkinson was here, we'd be going for Kenny Atkinson. If Bud was still here, we'd be going for Bud. That's all we're saying. But all right, man. Let's.
Hey, wait.
Go ahead.
Hey. Because, man, dude came in with that crazy enough, and I couldn't even say JT wrong as hell. Matt LaFleur, good football coach. Okay, go ahead.
I'm not saying he's not a good football coach. I think Matt LaFleur is a good football coach. The question is he better than Dan Campbell? We don't know. Listen,
I don't know if he better than
we gonna have to revisit that. That's all I'm saying is we're gonna have to revisit that.
Hey, if they lose to the Commanders, I have some words for Dan Campbell.
If they lose to the Commanders, correct. But if they beat them Commanders. If they beat those,
that means you did what you're supposed to do. You should beat the Commanders,
right? But you beat the Commanders, and okay, now we got 2 straight NFC Championship games that we made it to, right? Matt LaFleur made it to 3, but he did it with a Hall of Famer.
No, we're
He
not
did it with
doing
one of the best
that.
passers of all time.
No,
We're not
on
gonna call we're not
on the
calling
back end.
Jared Goff that. We're not calling. He was
So-
MVP those seasons, so like we can talk about back end if you want
That's
to.
Ben
Aaron Rodgers was
Johnson. That's
MVP those
Ben
seasons.
Johnson. That's Ben Johnson.
Well,
No, you
in
ain't
part-
no. You ain't come on. That's Ben Johnson. You talking about Jared? You think Dan Campbell is the Jared Goff whisperer? Come on.
No,
now.
not at all. Ben Johnson 100%
right.
is right, but at the end of the day, it's not even Jared Goff ain't even the same sentence as a player as Aaron Rodgers. And if you making
That's
this thing
fine.
work, if you making this thing work with Jared Goff, you got Jared Goff looking like damn near top 5 QB in the NFL sometimes, right? Like Jared Goff, you could argue you could 100% argue he's top 10 this year, probably top 7, which is crazy.
I think that's disrespectful to talk about a dude because he's playing with Aaron Rodgers when the fact is some of the best coaches are the ones that can manage
Exactly.
those huge egos. I thought he did a great job doing that. I give him credit for the Aaron Rodgers wins.
Yeah,
I give him credit for the Jordan Love wins.
Here's
You
the
know what
thing.
I give him more credit for? For the Malik Willis wins.
Justin, that's great, right? But here's the thing: you couldn't get it done. You had Aaron Rodgers, you couldn't get it done. You was on the doorstep. You choked 3 straight times.
Hey, who
Bruh,
choked?
That's something
Who was a big part of choking?
Matt LaFleur as the coach of the Packers.
Now it's funny.
Matt
it's
LaFleur as the coach
player,
of the
It's
Packers.
the player when they
And
get
Aaron Rodgers. No, listen. I'm just gonna say the facts here.
He moving the hell out the goalposts.
I'm not moving the goalposts. I'm saying that Matt LaFleur. We just gotta be honest here. Matt LaFleur, you couldn't figure this thing out. I mean, three straight times. Was it 49ers, Buccaneers? Was it 49ers twice? No.
It was 49ers, Buccaneers, and
Rams. Was it Buccaneers, Rams, and 49ers?
It was definitely Buccaneers and 49ers. I don't know who the other one was.
I thought it was Rams. Maybe I might be wrong there. Was it Oh! No, he didn't lose to Jared Goff. He didn't lose to Jared Goff, did he?
He didn't lose to Jared Goff.
He ain't lose to Jared Goff. Oh, now we gotta look this up. See, now we gotta look.
It's 49ers twice.
Oh, it's 49ers twice. Okay.
Okay, 49ers
I believe
twice.
so.
49ers twice. Wait, but Jimmy G didn't give you work twice.
I think it might have been.
No, it wasn't 40. It was 49ers. He made it to 3 straight championship games, I thought, and then he lost to the 49ers again in the second round. Right? Like, we gotta look this up. Because if he lost to Jared Goff, hang on.
Why y'all doing that? But yeah, no, LaFleur's a good coach, man. That's all I'm saying.
No, I look. I'm not doubting that. I'm saying he's a good coach. I'm not saying he's top 10 in the NFL.
It was only 2. It was 49ers and Buccaneers.
Okay, so
49ers loss was a wild card weekend loss.
So he didn't make it to 3 straight championships. He just made it to 2.
Correct.
So then, if Dan Campbell makes it,
19 and 20. So yeah, it was San Francisco and Tampa. 19 and 20.
So Dan Campbell makes it to 2 straight championship games, right? Then at least when it comes to that, we're getting on the same level here. We're getting on the same level. And if Dan Campbell actually gets his team to the Super Bowl, then you got to kind of say, you know what? Look, I mean, even though, you know what? It's an interesting argument because I don't see Zach Taylor of the Bengals as one of the best coaches in the NFL. So getting to the Super Bowl alone, I don't think is determinative of if you're one of the best coaches. You see what I'm saying? Like Zach Taylor from the Bengals. Does anybody think that dude is top 5 in the league, even top 10?
No.
Right.
Well, I'm looking at this game was Jimmy Garoppolo was he 6 for 8?
Because they didn't throw the
No,
ball. You're looking at
dang. Oh yeah, he's
that first.
So they didn't really get guys. You said they didn't really get got by Jimmy. Jimmy G ain't give him no work. Jimmy G ain't give him.
You're talking about you're talking about I believe that was the Mostert game.
Yes,
where he went crazy for the 49ers.
Yes,
we got him signed in Miami for a lot.
Yeah, that was that was let me see. Yeah, Mostert went for 29 for 220 and 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, he went crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, and then the other time when Jimmy Garoppolo beat us, I think it was the same thing, and they won by a block punt touchdown.
And then Brock Purdy gave y'all work last year. Not really, but y'all didn't learn what y'all didn't learn from last year when it was, hey, you might want to have that wide receiver you could go to. You might want to have that, right? And then y'all lost to the 49ers last year.
Yeah, and Jimmy G stunk. Both those games, Jimmy G stunk. Purdy was decent in the last one.
The Packers could have won that. The Packers really did have every opportunity to win that game too against
Yes.
last year. And you know what I'm saying. And just to be honest, I just give Justin a hard time because like I know this just.
But yeah, let's get out of here, man. Wow, long show tonight. Maybe this might I have to check and see if this is the longest that we've been on.
Man, that's why I can't do this during the week. I be yawning at work. I be gasping, reading the same pages.
Every night is 130 to 112 win Bucks Raptors, and I'm like at start of the show, I'm like, all right, let's get out of here quick. And next thing you know, we almost 2 hours in. So I don't know how we got there, but anyway, we here. 130-112 Bucks beat the Raptors. Let's wrap again. We may do a little 10-minute video or something on after Sunday's game against Philly, but we won't have a full show back again. What would you say, Tuesday, Wednesday against the New Orleans Pelicans? Should be another again. Talk about it. 3 in a row. You should beat the Sixers without Embiid. The Pelicans stink. Like these are wins. These are wins you should have. Right? So you should come into next time we show up for a full post game. Bucks been on a 5-game win streak. Really knocking on the doorstep for that third overall seed. But anyway, again, we think. Oh, I mean, you know what? You know what we didn't do? You know who else we not? You know where else you should be knocking on the door at?
Curly's
Waterfront Sports Bar and Grill. You got to knock on the door there. Get the Curly's Waterfront Sports Bar and Grill. Man, I didn't do that earlier. But anyway, $3 bottles of pints during all televised games at Curly's. Enjoy yourself. Get yourself some wings. Get yourself some good food. Go down there, play bingo and trivia on Wednesday and Thursday nights. And you do well at bingo and trivia. Somebody tell me what they're giving out.
Bucks tickets.
Bucks tickets. Where they giving them Bucks tickets at? Anybody know?
I forget the row. I forget the row in the section.
Remember, Section 102, row 23, seats 1 and 2. Get down to Curly's Waterfront Sports Bar and Grill. Tell them the Guru sent you. Tell them the Cream City Crossover sent you. Proud sponsor of the Cream City Crossover, Curly's Waterfront Sports Bar and Grill. I want to thank them for sponsoring the show tonight. I want to thank you guys for listening. You could have been anywhere in the world watching us, but you were here with us. We appreciate it. We enjoy it every single time. Tell a friend, tell another friend that about the Cream City Crossover. Come on in the room all the time and join us after, I say every single Bucks post game, but just about every Bucks game. We're going to be here doing the thing. Yeah, that's it. 130, 112. Bucks beat the Raptors. This has been a Cream City Media Group production from the Guru Trickhouse III.
JT.
Justin.
Hey, if we are your enemy, it is only because we dare to tell you the truth. Don't take no wood nickels.